What up, people? Thank you very much for tuning in. It's Beer Monster O'Clock, and I'm back with another beer review. This time I've picked up a beer from Lidl's, a nice cheapo sort of beer, because everyone's bloody struggling for money, innit? So trying to find some sort of respectable beers at a cheap price is going to be handy for a lot of people in the current climate. So I picked up a Session IPA, and it's called Steam Brew. Really cool can art, must say. Something really cool looking about this can. I like it. And another thing I like about it, it's a 500ml can, which you don't often get when it comes to sort of craft beers and all that, do you? And it's got a good price, £1.79 in Lidl I paid for it. And Session IPA, don't know, that girl there apparently is the sister. I don't know, it says she's the sister. Whose sister? I don't know. Let's oil the gears of life, it says on the can. I believe it's brewed in Germany, this particular beverage, by the Eichbaum brewery. Never heard of them. But yeah, Germans, they make good beer normally, don't they? So hopefully this is going to be nice. What percent was it? I think it's 4.9% ABV, which ain't too bad for a session. And it's a 35 IBUs international bitterness units, which gives you an idea of how bitter the beer is going to be. So 35 IBUs, it should have I would say, fairly decent bitterness to it, you'd expect. There we go. There's the beverage in the glass. It's a sort of yellowy, hazy straw yellowy colour. Could say golden, but for me, I think it's more yellow than gold. With a really white, piercingly beautiful white head. Small head, but yeah, it looks alright. Steady levels of carbonation. Can't see no sediment or nothing like that in it. Let's get the news in there and check out the aroma of this Steam Brew Session IPA. Bit of citrus in there. Don't smell too bad actually. You can tell it's a sessioner though, and I'm not the biggest fan of the session anything really, unless I'm actually on a session, because they tend to lack a little bit in flavour. If I'm on a session, I'd probably prefer to go for like a Guinness or a lager or something, because just wet and refreshing, aren't they? It's malty, it's citrusy. You can tell there's a bitterness to this because you're getting some sort of pine needle notes as well. It smells alright. It doesn't have a massive aroma, but the aroma that's there is quite pleasant. Right, let's chuck her down the neck and see what she's all about. Cheers, everybody. Prost if German. Bosh. It's not bad. It's not amazing, that's my first impression, but it's pretty good. Got to remember, you're paying £1.79 for a beer that's come over from Germany, so-called craft beer, big can as well, 500ml. Value for money, it's okay. It's an okay beer, it's nothing special. It's definitely not setting me world alight or nothing like that. Quite thin, it's a little bit watery, that's my issue with it. But there are some nice things about it. Let's go again. It's citrusy. You know what? It's giving me kind of like, there's not a whole deal going on with it, but it still tastes quite nice at the same time. It's a little bit lagery, you know. There are a lot of lagers, they don't taste like much, but they just refresh you, and sometimes they have a bit of a citrus and a little bitterness on the end or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of reminding me of a lager, really. I'm not really getting much fruit or anything. I'm getting some lemony sort of citrus, perhaps a bit of citrus rind, which I can't tell you what citrus it is. And just not a lot else. So you could say bland. It lacks any real sort of depth of flavour, but it ain't too bad. There's nothing horrible about it. It tastes clean. It is like a really citrusy lager though. It really is, which, I mean, I like lager, so It's not really what it says on the can for me. Or it is, but for me it doesn't really taste like a Session IPA. It tastes more like a lager. Is that a bad thing? Well, yeah, I suppose it is, because I was expecting an IPA, but I like lager. But if you don't like lagers, I would swerve it personally. But for someone who likes lagers and IPAs, it's doing a job. It's definitely refreshing. Pretty good value for money. You're getting a bit of malt. The bitterness is like got quite a nice aftertaste to it. It's sort of a medium level bitterness. It doesn't quite hit you how I'd like it to hit you, but it's but despite not being the best bitterness, it does have a nice linger that stays around for quite some time in a gentle way, not in a sort of piss off or sort of way. It just lingers around gently for a while. That's probably one of the only things I can notice about this beer that stands out, and it's probably the best thing about this beer as well. I'm just not getting a lot else, to be perfectly honest with you. Overall, it's cheap, it's drinkable, but nothing special. I suppose for a 500ml can, it ain't bad, but I certainly wouldn't rush out to buy it again anyway. But I've had far worse beers. I'll go in with like a 6.5 out of 10, I suppose. It would have been less if it hadn't been so cheap. But no, for a cheapo, it's alright. It's a lot better than some of them crap Father Christmas beers I had in home bargains the other day, that's for sure. Yeah, if you tried this particular beverage, let me know what you think of it in the comments, guys. What would you give it out of 10? Do you hate it? Do you love it? And yeah, till next one, guys. Bye-bye, darlings.